Again, for those that are curious, welcome one and all to the B stream, aka the Mixu stream, as we are scheduled to cast every single Mixu series, every single match, one after the other. We just wrapped up with DNS versus Mixu. Now we are jumping into our TvZ, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Whispers of Gold, we have the French Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Finnish Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It's Gamba time, as predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. When it comes to the mainstream and some of the other language streams, they're covering the other matches that are going on here in round 2. I believe the mainstream may be covering Raynor versus DNS or Hero Marine versus Mana. Meanwhile, we have the series here, the TvZ. Here we go. So now we do have Mixu going for his standard opener. I imagine Hatch Gas Pool. Hatchery has been placed. Clem back at home going for his own Rax Expand. So far, so good. And again, I'm excited to see more of Mixu. We've been casting a lot of the patch on the PTR. I mean, for the past 2 months, we've been hosting and casting so many PTR events. We've been lucky enough to be able to do so, but Mixu hasn't been too active. He hasn't been too active in those tournaments, so I'm really excited to see how he has been changing, growing, adapting as a player when it comes to the new maps, when it comes to the new patch as well. I am curious. What I'm most curious about, especially in this matchup, is because of the change to the Queen, because Queens are now more expensive, we have seen once again a rise in popularity of Roach openers. I mean, they have been trendy already over the past year. We've seen, especially like Serral, for example, more often than not will open up Roach almost every single ZBT. Raynor doesn't, which is why I do appreciate watching Raynor, because he does often still approach and still embrace Ling Bane play, even Ling Bane into Muta. But I'm curious how Mixu will approach things and if he will also embrace the Roach opener. For now, Hatch Gas Pool. For now, Hatch Gas Pool, everything is looking normal, everything is looking standard. Is going to be settling in. Likewise, Mixu also confirms the racks across the map, the CC on the low ground. No 2-Rax Reaper or anything like that. From here, we settle in. This Reaper does hit the natural. The dance has begun. It's all about Mixu just minimizing losses, minimizing his Ling and drone losses, especially here, as he's just buying time for the Queen. He's taking a lot of hits here, a bit of miscontrol as well with those Lings. Oh no! They attacked the destructible plates, they attacked the hatchery, and the first drone goes down. A bit of a disastrous defense here by Mixu. Looking a little bit nervous, is that what I want to say. We often don't see Mixu blunder that defense as hard. So, I mean, it's Clem. I mean, I don't blame him too much here, as he's up against the best Terran in the world, arguably the best player in the world, as he is our reigning champion, of course. He is the world champion. Meanwhile, Mixu backs off, and we're going to be getting into a lair, but it looks like there might be some latency issues here, as we do get a pause. Hopefully everything's okay. Oh, yeah. Looks like there are some latency issues, so we're just going to be waiting for the lag spike to pass. Oh, and there we go.
Game resumed.
Jumping back in. But again, for those that are curious, there have been some lag spikes that have been plaguing the venue for the past 2 days. Thankfully, this lag spike did not occur in the middle of a fight. If it were to, then we would be, of course, willing to resume from replay if need be. For now, though, in the early game, nothing too crazy going on outside of the lair, of course. Gigafast lair here from Mixu. With this could be a Ling Queen Nidus all in. I'm leaning towards that direction. Reaper does dance with the Queen, does go for the tumor, and the tumor does survive. Whew, just barely. Does survive. I assumed it was going to be a Nidus all in, but no, there's Overlord Speed on the way, so this tells us that this should most likely be a variation of German Taxi. Ling Queen, drop a Lord all in instead. I mean, it makes sense. We're in Germany, fat. True. In Germany, time to call up that taxi and send it across the map. Until then, Clem, he does recognize how late the expansion is. He knows how late the third is quite suspect. Lings, they try to dive in. So far, nice kiting out of Clem. Clem will be losing one Reaper, but not the Hellions. Hellions will shut this down. What's important, though, is that Mixu is just trying to distract Clem and keep him away from the main and keep him away from scouting what's going on. But again, Clem, he has a piece of the puzzle. He knows that something is wrong. Back at home, 3cc Banshee here from Clem. Very economic, but also, I mean, pretty safe as well. Getting into Banshees will help in defense. Hellions are amassing. Lings, they attempt to surround. Not quite able to, though. If Mixu can somehow surround these Hellions and he can pop off. Oh, it's a Hellbat push. Clem is going for the army, setting up and going for a Banshee Hellbats, and that's going to be ideal here, especially against the Ling all-in that's coming. Like, defensive Hellbats are going to be insane. But here we go. Drop Lords move out. Queens as well. I believe Clem did miss the Drop Lords. He didn't see them. Oh my god, and we're dropping into the main. What is there at home to defend? There's 2 Hellions. The other Hellions are racing back. They're turning back around. 6 Hellions in total. Banshee as well. And here comes the all-in. Queens, they drop into the main. Lings, they overextend for a moment here. They need the support of the Queens. Queens are pushing forward. Lings on low ground. Lings are being cleaned up. And Mixu, he's not doing enough damage with this. I mean, nice target firing here on the Banshees, but Hellbats, they move forward, and yeah, Clem is going to shut this down. Pulling a couple of boys. Hellbats have arrived. There's the cloak. No detection. And no detection for Mixu, and he just cannot break through. Lings, they rotate over towards the natural, but again, there's plenty here at home. Plenty of units, plenty of Hellbats. And behind this, Mixu, now he starts droning up. Very late droning here for Mixu. He was so committed. I mean, he does send another wave of Lings across the map. He can still get some damage. Going for the depots, getting to the mineral line. SCVs are going to be falling. Not bad. Get 6, 7, 8 SCVs. Not bad at all. Delay some of the production. Lings, they bust into the natural. SCVs, they're falling. A much better trade here from Mixu. We'll have to get out of here with the Queens. Oh. To say that 2 Queens do fall, 1 Queen survive. That's going to be 20 SCV kills. More Lings, they flood into the natural. A couple more depots. Not bad. 2 more depots falling. And with that, Clem gets supply blocked. Does break out by calling down the supply. Clem, he does hold. And as the dust settles, I mean, Mixu is still not stopping. Let's go. The tenacity keeps dropping in. Links towards the natural. Links into the main. Back at home, Mixu does drone up somewhat here up to 2 base economy. 40 workers. 40 drones. Lings, they go for the natural. Clem out of position. Hellbat's having a hard time responding. That's gonna be another, what, 8 SCVs? 9 SCVs even. Mixu, calm down. Creep is spreading in the main. Lings are cleaned up. And Mixu is still just flooding more Lings. 22 more Lings in production. This is good damage, but I'm still a little bit concerned here when it comes to the main army. The Hellbat count here has still been quite stable for Clem. Now he's working on Stim. Building up more Marines, working on Stim. Eventually, Clem will outscale Mixu. So Mixu needs more damage. He's coming in for the second wave for the second round. Moving out with 6 Queens. Banshees, they hit the main. There's nothing at home to defend. Oof, no spores. Yeah, Mixu is completely exposed. And he's completely all in. I mean, he was already all in, but now he can barely sustain himself. Drones are going down. It's all or nothing for Mixu. But there are Hellbats. Oh, God. Yeah, Lings, they just cannot engage the main army. The Lings, they just get roasted. Across the map, 11 workers go down. No mining whatsoever here in the main. Queens, they race back. And Mixu can no longer break this. And now he's droning. He's droning, getting into his Bailey nest, getting into Ling Pain. It's still a really awkward game state here and not quite comfortable for Clem, but now he's getting a third. He's getting a third. Clem has a worker lead plus mules. He's ahead in economy. We did have some nice moves out of Mixu when he was doing some damage, that is true, but it's still not enough. We'll get reinforcements. Picking up some Marines, Clem turns back around. Lings hit the natural, and Clem commits. Is going to be committing. 12 SCVs falling. But this is a terrifying army. And back at home, what is it to defend? We're taking gases. Ling Queen, no Banelings. Baneling nest is done, but without any Banelings, I don't know how Mixu can really contest against this. He can't. He cannot, as Clem, he sims in. And he wins. I mean, there's nothing at home. Lings are doing what they can across the map. They get more SCV kills. 26 SCVs go down. But where are the Banelings? We need them. And GG gets called. Clem, he will take game number 1. GG. Very chaotic game, though. GG will play. Very chaotic game. Initially, if you remember, Clem, he had a very strong defense. He was able to defend, able to minimize losses. He shut down the Lings and Queens. And then Mixu kept at it. He kept at it, and eventually he was able to actually break through, actually get worker kills. He was actually able to cripple the economy of Clem. Unfortunately, as we were mentioning, he could never really contest against the main army. Even though Clem was losing SCVs, he was building up his Marine count, building up his Hellbat count, and there was no answer. There was no answer from Mixu. He was working on Bailings, he was working on Bailing speed, but he needed more time. Time that Clem did not give him. Ideally, Mixu would have wanted Clem to turn around. In those final moments when Mixu went for the Ling run by at the natural, if Clem did actually turn around and race back home, then Mixu would have finished Bailing speed, then there would have been Bailings back home to defend. Like, maybe he holds, maybe he takes the game, but Clem with that killer instinct, he commits. GG. GG, well played, did commit. And with that, Clem takes a lead in the series. And now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go, as game 2 is going to be on ley lines. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the French Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Finnish Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. And again, shout out to Mixu as well, because as we were saying, Clem, he is the reigning world champion. He's favored to win the entire tournament even, or even have a deep run. Mixu is the underdog coming into this. Despite that, he's got some builds. Came in with an all-in. Initially was looking a little bit shaky, but there were definitely some moments. Definitely some strong moments for Mixu in that first game. In the end, things did kind of fall apart, and again, he just needed a little bit more time to actually get into Bailing production. In the end, Clem did take it, but still, GG. GG nonetheless. We'll see if Mixu has another spicy build for us, or if he goes for something more standard, right? After game 1, does he have that kind of out of his system? Is he going to calm things down and go for a more macro approach, or do we go for another different kind of all-in? Do we go for a Link Queen Nidus all-in? Do we go for a Roach Rush? Do we go for a Bane Bust? There's some options here for Mixu, definitely. We'll see. Or he could be crazy and get a third and drone up. It's crazy. We'll see. For now, Hatch Gas full, standard opener out of Mixu. Likewise, Clem going for his own Racked Expand and going for an SCV Scout across the map. Here we go. Does move out. And for the most part, my eyes are going to be on Mixu here. If you recall, last game, Mixu did rush into a very fast lair, which did actually go unscattered for quite some time. We'll see if he stays in gas after Link speed, and if he goes for something more gas intensive once again. We shall see as the first Reaper has arrived. Worker moves out, Worker is intercepted. Ooh, the third base is going to be delayed. No! Ooh, it goes down. Rough loss there for Mixu. First run falls. Sure it does fall. Reaper dives into the mineral line. Gets a Ling. Oh, barely not. Ling survives, Queen pops out, and Mixu will deflect. He will deflect the Reaper. Back into the main, pulled out of gas. Okay, this time he has pulled out of gas, so we're not rushing into anything gas intensive like a Baneling Nest, a Roach Warren, or a Lair. Everything looks standard from the side of Mixu. Meanwhile, back at home, Clem going for a third CC. Oh! He's going for a third CC before Starport, so economic opener here by Clem as well. So far here in game 2, at least, everything is looking standard from both the Terran and the Zerg. Everything looks normal. Second Rax is on the way. Interesting. So Clem, he's going for a 3cc 2-on-1, as opposed to the previous game where we saw Clem invest into extra Hellions, into Banshees, into Cloak Banshee Hellbat. This is very different. Instead, we're going for an add-on swap, cutting Hellion production early on, going into Mass Marine production into a stim timing. So very different follow-up here from Clem, going more bio-heavy instead. Meanwhile, we spoke about Roaches at the start of game 1, and there it is. Roach Warren has been placed for Mixu. It is hidden behind the mineral line. Likewise, Mixu is also contained on 2 bases. Third base is very late for Mixu. Now, because it's so late, Clem, he should realize that something is a little bit wrong. I mean, I should say, usually when the third base is this delayed, it means that money was spent elsewhere. So I'm sure something like a Roach Warren is in the back of Clem's mind. As he does dive in. Yeah, he does bypass the queens, dives into the mineral line. Boys are being pulled. Mixu trying to deny the scouts. And he will zone the army away. Back in the mineral line is safe. Meanwhile, helis are diving to the main. Drones are going down. Oh, they line up. Oh my god, 5 workers do get roasted. And Clem gets behind the main base mineral line. Confirms there is nothing here. Gets a drone kills. Very nice trade for Clem. But he does not scout behind the natural. So it is in the dark and roaches are massing. Roaches moving out. Did Clem see the second gas? Oh, he didn't. So he didn't see the gases. Didn't see the Roach Warren. Doesn't know how much danger he's in. And here comes Mixu. Mixu is flooding across the map with Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers. Spots the main army. Behind this, again, the Bio army is amassing. Stim is on the way. But Clem has no bunker. Not yet. I mean, he doesn't know he needs one. Clem does not know he needs a bunker. As he's trading with the Lings. More importantly, Mixu keeping the Hellions distracted. And here comes Roach Ravager. And again, the Hellions are out of position. They don't see. Clem doesn't see this coming. Back at home, no wall, no bunker, Marines are exposed. They do have stim, but there's no support. Armies revealed the biles. Ooh. Gets a Marine. 1 Marine goes down. Boys are being pulled. They have to be. Up. Bile takes down another Marine as well. Some okay trades here from Mixu. Hellions, they race back home. Gonna be distracting. And Clem is up against the wall. Has to be so careful with how he engages. Has Mixu, he's gonna be committing in. Boys being pulled. Lings are going down. Nice target firing here on the Ravagers. Oh. And we're down to 3. Down to only 3 Ravagers. Mixu is running out of steam. And the longer this goes on, the worse it is for Mixu. Medevacs have arrived. The Marines, they can stim more freely. Another Ravager falls. Down to 2. 2 Ravagers left. Third one morphing in. Depot goes down, but there's barely any Ravagers remaining here. Tank has arrived. Massive volley goes off. Lings, they do get into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. Not bad. Forcing friendly fire. 11 SCVs. And that's going to be the end of the rush as Clem, he shuts this down. Cleans up the Lings to the Ravagers. Everything. Did lose 12 SCVs, but fun fact, Clem, he still has more workers. He has 44 workers to the 38 of Mixu. I mean, that's how all in, that's how committed Mixu was. And it was not enough damage. Was not enough damage in the end. Clem, he holds. He has a third base, triple mule production, triple SCV production. Ay, ay, ay. And here comes the counter drop. What I will say is that Mixu did a good job hiding it. He did a great job at hiding the all-in, but despite that, Clem, he just has such a good reaction to it, despite being unprepared. And GG gets called as the drop gets across the map, and Clem will take the series at 2-0. GG. GG, well played, Clem. He will take the series here. And again, I do want to reiterate, shout out to Mixu for successfully hiding the build, keeping it hidden, and keeping it secret and safe from Clem. I was able to execute his all-in. Unfortunately, Clem, he was so careful with his SCVs, with pulling the boys, with buying time more importantly. He bought so much time for his tank, for his medevacs, for his upgrades. His Hellions also bought time just dragging more Lings out of position as well. It was all just to make a more secure defense there by Clem. Did bleed out a couple of Marines here and there, but I mean, those are pretty affordable losses for Clem, as he was kind of playing a longer game there, just bought more time and did snowball out of control. GG. GG, well played. Clem does take the series, but a shout out to Mixu. Again, you know, he came in with some prepared builds here, both in Game 1 and Game 2. Again, Mixu, I don't blame him necessarily for not necessarily liking his chances in a standard macro game against Clem. Tried to cheese him out. In the end, didn't quite work out though, but regardless, some fun and solid games nonetheless. GG. GG, well played. Clem will take the series, and let's catch up on the rest of the brackets. Let's go. We have some catching up to do here.